You know, I never thought we'll see the day that we'll have anthropomorphic country bars, but here we are. Recently, a few viewers have asked if I could review a channel called Birdie Man, so I looked them up and I saw country bar cats, or in shortened terms, country cats. And just from the looks of it, this channel is a lot different from a normal country bar channel. So today, we'll talk about their rise to popularity, as well as their comparison to other channels, and who owns them, since the answer might be a little surprising. But before we begin, please subscribe, as it helps me a lot out with making these kinds of videos, and if you want to support me more, there are channel memberships available. So let's begin. Now, Birdie Man currently has over 100,000 subscribers, 100 million views, and was created on January 4th, 2024. Now, they are pretty unique, as instead of country bars, they're just cats. Now, I don't know why they chose this, but it is their choice, and what matters is the content, which is also somewhat different. Now, they have like two different kinds of shorts. First are the shorts you tend to see on state bars or other childish country bar channels, but then you have another kind of short, which reminds me of a lot of channels like Monument, who have this meme style short format. So basically, this could technically be our first meme style country bar channel, which also means this channel is basically a mix of skit and meme content. Now, based on the comments, they feel pretty neutral to this channel, with some even saying somewhat good. Even other large country bar channels have had neutral opinions on this channel. And yes, I do have to agree. I mean, this channel is not as good as people like Polish Tortoise or Kalinga in general, but still, they're much better than a lot of the content farms like State Bars, Space Bars, History Bars, and Dakoto Studio. Also, just for more props, but this goofy faces they show in some of their videos is a lot better than this stupid Stay Human's face, which also look pretty okay. Now, in my opinion at least, I think the designs are pretty cute, but they're not really anything special. I mean, they're just like country bars, but instead they have like cat faces, and they also have mouths, which could turn down a lot of people from the OG community, but also they tend to have fangs on their teeth, like actual cats, as well as tails. I wonder what community this channel is trying to advertise itself to. Anyway, let's move on. Now, the channel grew pretty fast. I mean, just by the start of April, they only had around 1,000 subscribers, and now in the span of like 2.5 months, they managed to get over 100,000 subscribers, getting millions of views on their shorts. I mean, a lot of the most popular shorts have over 5 million views, and even today, they still average around 500,000 to 1 million views per short, and still gain around 25,000 subscribers per month, which is decently fast for a country bar channel in this era. They also managed to get over 100,000 subscribers, despite not even having 100 videos on the channel, which is impressive. Although, to be fair, in a time where country bars seems to be in the same repetitive slop, it is nice to see something at least somewhat unique to the country bar community. But then that begs another question: who owns this channel? Now, when you first see this channel, you might think it's just some person that's trying to just make silly content, not high quality, but still silly content for the community with their unique designs. And I wish that was true, but some evidence suggests that this answer is actually not the case, and some of you guys won't like it. Now, first, I tried looking at the long form videos, which I found out they made a lot of space type videos around 2 years ago, and in the description it says, quote, "Welcome to Cosmo Dude's channel," which gives me a hint that this channel used to be called Cosmo Dude, which feels like it was definitely not copied from Soul Boss's Astro Dude, but I digress.
Good boy.
Now, when I searched that channel name, I actually found a Russian version of the channel that made the same kinds of videos, plus some random Roblox video, which means around 2 years ago, both channels were space channels. However, after the English one failed, they likely abandoned the channel before returning and rebranding it. Still, it probably means it was just some guy who made two channels. Now, the space videos feature this alien, which looks weird. Talk about space stuff and, stuff like that. And they also do show planet bars, which, fun fact, some of them are actually mouthless, which, look pretty good. They look a lot like what you'll find on actual good country bar channels and stuff like that.
Hello, I'm Birdie.
Although, there's one criticism: I do not like the voice of this alien. I mean, it just sounds pretty weird. I mean, I would have preferred it. Wait, no, wait, why? Are we see? Yes, that's right, we see a planet bar, the design if it was from Space Bars, which is super alarming because that could mean that Birdie Man is owned by Space Bars, and of course, Fash. I literally cannot escape him. Now, I want more evidence to see if they were connected, and unfortunately, I did find more. First, when looking at their videos, they feature this guy, who looks familiar, but that's because this is from the Mander Dono channel, who's owned by State Bars. Also, I feel like they used to have a channel that had this guy's face as a profile picture, but I really couldn't find it. Some more evidence is when looking at the Wayback Machine from April 2026, we see that the Birdie Man re-uploaded one of his videos along with Mr. Tai, who's also a State Bars own channel. Now, the video is deleted, but the fact that they did the same thing that all the State Bars and Fast channels do is just more alarming evidence. Something I also noticed as I was watching these planet videos is that the voice is literally from Space Bars before they switched to these brainrot shorts. And with all that being said, all evidence points to them being owned by State Bars and Fash. Once again, this isn't concrete evidence. I mean, when looking at State Bars and Fash's channels, they did not end up leaking Birdie Man to any of their channels, and I couldn't find any posts from Spaceballs or State Bars saying, hey, we have a channel called Cosmo Dude. Another theory could be that this channel used to be owned by Fash, but after being abandoned, it was likely sold to a new owner, whether it be another grifter or just an old person, thus it was rebranded Birdie Man, which could explain why this content is somewhat different compared to most Fash channels. But still, the fact that this channel has a dub channel in Russian, which is also a language that Fash speaks in, and the fact that we have evidence from same voice actors, same designs to re-uploads is just concerning. That would also explain why some of the skit shorts they would do are similar to the ones State Bars has done, usually on the same topics and stuff like that. Now, if this is the case, then one, this is actually by far the best channel that Fash has ever made. It's just funny content that is not suggestive or plagiarism, so props to them for actually expanding out. Also, another thing that this channel does that none of the Fash channels do is that it specifically says that this content is like 18+, which could be as a way to not have children be on this content, so that in case they do end up getting in trouble for making bad, inappropriate content, they can at least use that excuse. I mean, it's good to know that Fash is becoming more self-aware, but still, it's like a little scummy in my opinion. But at the same time, it's also just really sad, because while this channel is not as bad as the other Fash and State Bars channels, and it's actually one of the more decent ones in the community, and when I say decent, I mean that pretty lightly, because it's still not as good as a lot of the long-form country bar channels. It's just really sad to think that this channel is just probably another satellite channel owned by Fash, but then it's also pretty concerning, because this does not look like a Fash-style channel. I mean, yeah, a lot of its popularity came from shorts and they're pretty low effort, but a lot of the symptoms that show it's a Fash channel are just not there, which probably means that Fash is trying to expand the country bar community or other communities in disguise so that people won't call him out for trying to ruin the communities, which is just kind of disgusting. I mean, no one has seemed to point out that this channel might be owned by State Bars, but then that also means how many other channels does Fash own that are just in disguise? Now, we don't know, and hopefully it's not a lot, but look how many play buttons this guy has. Like, he has to have a lot more channels, not just in country bars, but in other communities. Now, don't send hate to this channel, because this evidence is not 100% concrete, but it is pretty likely. But also, sending hate would not help anyone at all. And besides, it isn't like the content this channel is making is just horrible. I mean, it's just alright. However, Birdie Man, if you ever see this video and you're not owned by Fash, let me know in the comments below, because if you want, it will probably make a lot of people happy that you're not owned by a grifter. Now, I don't know if this channel will start a snowball effect leading to more country cat channels to appear on YouTube. I mean, yes, country cats have technically always appeared, but usually costumes are associated with Japan. However, this is just full on cat country bars, so I don't know if more channels seeing the success of Birdie Man are going to copy him, thus leading to a new era of just country cats. But hey, we'll see. Also, one more thing, who's the character in the profile picture supposed to be? Is it supposed to be a duck because it has feathers, or are those scales? Or is it supposed to be a cucumber because cats are afraid of cucumbers? I'm really curious about that. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Birdie Man? Do you think they're actually a good country bar channel, or do you guys change your mind because of the idea of who the owners are? Well, that's all for today's video. If you made it this far, then thank you so much. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time.